Control-obsessed, merciless, they have their own savage tactics, one of the most vengeful and hateful packs. And throughout history they have been known for their bold alliance that fears nothing, which was named the strong Tumbila Lion Coalition, or the Shadow Lions Coalition. However, their immense strength and unusual courage did not enable them to overcome the deadly obstacles that, despite their small size, were more ferocious and lethal. These obstacles were represented by microscopic creatures that could not be seen with the naked eye, and were merely deadly viruses that later led to the loss of many coalition members. In the Magnoletti Reserve, the Tumbila Coalition was merely a cohesive gang consisting of 6 strong and angry brothers who wreaked havoc and killed many other coalitions, rebelling against their kind. But because fate had its plan, it charted a bad path for this group of lions, from fierce battles with hyenas to bloody confrontations with other lions, not to mention mysterious diseases that ravaged the rest of the coalition. Everyone talked about the immense Tumbila power, especially photographers who loved watching wildlife and nature protectors there in the Kruger National Park, who witnessed the strength of the coalition, their ferocity, prowess in fighting, control, and hunting. This coalition began to disintegrate before their eyes, after the death of its members one by one, until only one survivor remained, who returned to his birthplace searching for a new beginning. To dive into the truth and return to the beginning of this powerful group of lions and know their origins and inherited fierce genes, we must delve into the savannah, where the sun shines with full force and heat, back to the year 2016, when 6 lively cubs were born in the famous Magnoletti Reserve within the renowned Nauru female pride, which was the most famous in the region. The lionesses of this group were known for their speed, flexibility, and strength, which enabled them to hunt the largest prey, primarily buffaloes, the favorite meal of the large pride. The 6 males born were no less brave than the adults, showing signs of strength and wit from a young age, wit that later crowned them kings of the pride. As with all lions, the cubs left alone for the wilderness to live their own experience, challenge difficulties, hone their strength and personality, and try to survive. Indeed, 5 of the 6 cubs united to form their own coalition, which was inevitable after leaving the pride. And then it was named the Tumbila Coalition. Victory came in their first battles with some nomadic lions, as one of the strong cubs crowned himself king of the coalition. The name Shadow Coalition was not given in vain, as these 5 lions demonstrated their remarkable ability to move stealthily through the shadows of the savannah, remaining unnoticed. They were professional in camouflage and setting up ambushes rarely detected. This skill gave them a crucial advantage, especially in territorial battles, protecting borders and expanding. Thus, no predator or prey escaped their cutting jaws and destructive claws, crossing lands lightly without being discovered. Hence, the coalition gained its notorious reputation among all coalitions in the reserve. Their extreme cunning in setting up ambushes led to slaughtering rival lions, taking over their territories, and mating with their females. Their intelligence and calm strategy helped avoid unnecessary confrontations and choose their battles wisely and cleverly. These lions did not settle in any one place, but chose to wander and be homeless, venturing outside the reserve's borders. They faced the first strong, real challenge from ruling lions there, which had adverse results for the coalition. 2 Tumbila lions disappeared without knowing their whereabouts, despite the rest of the coalition searching for them in neighboring areas, but to no avail. It was not known if the 2 lions were killed or went away to establish their own pride. Despite the sudden loss, life had to go on. The rest of the coalition resumed their movement with great stealth and camouflage across the lands, without causing a commotion in their locations, merely hunting nearby prey and moving later to other areas. In 2020, the remaining 3 males found their way to the Sabi Sand Reserve. In the sands of this reserve, fate dealt them a harsh blow, especially when they reached the western sector of the reserve and began roaring to assert their presence boldly, despite initially avoiding the dominant male, who was the last of the Matimba lions, rulers of the area in recent years. The Tumbila continued their usual strategy of hiding and mating with females away from the Matimba male. But as their strength grew, they began to announce their presence louder without fear, deciding to settle and establish their kingdom in the area, after having enough of wandering and homelessness. By December 2020, the coalition was ready to dominate. They expelled the old lions, killed the 4 young cubs in the pride they found, while the Matimba male withdrew with some females away from the place. Thus, the coalition members solidified their dominance over the area, showing the world what they were capable of. The Tumbila's strength was not only in their ability to fight, but also in their great ability to plan and adapt, making them a coalition feared by their enemies. These dominant lions were smart and always one step ahead of their opponents. They slaughtered every lion that entered their territory in a world where survival depended on cunning as much as strength and strategies. The summer of 2021 brought new challenges to the coalition. While the males were patrolling their territory, one of them found himself surrounded by a clan of hyenas, igniting a terrifying, bloody battle. Between the lion's strikes and his pursuit of the hyenas, and the latter's treachery causing severe wounds on the lion's body, the lion managed to kill 2 hyenas, while the rest fled the scene. The battle ended with severe injuries to the lion's hind legs, preventing him from participating in hunting or defending the pride. Despite the efforts of his brothers and the other lionesses to care for him, offering the best parts of the prey from the hunts, his condition did not improve. He began to refuse food and lost his appetite entirely, with his wounds being accompanied by deadly infections and viruses. The lion succumbed to his illness, last seen in the embrace of the tall savanna grasses in September 2021, before he finally passed away. The remaining 2 lions stayed together for a few days, abstaining from their night patrols or helping in hunts. They were clearly in mourning for their brother. With the coalition reduced to 2, it was time to move on and continue protecting their kingdom and caring for its members. But first, vengeance was necessary. The 2 brothers set off towards the hyenas they considered responsible for their brother's death, leaving their pride for 4 days to track the hyenas. When they encountered them, the lions slaughtered most of them, targeting the strongest first, believing this would honor their brother's memory. They returned after leaving the hyena clan weak and powerless. The coalition expected that their days would finally prosper upon their return, but this did not happen. Especially at the beginning of 2022, one of the lions in the coalition showed signs of a severe illness. His health deteriorated rapidly. The lion suffered from a mysterious disease without battle scars. His condition was so poor that even 2 nomadic lions found him alone while his brother was patrolling the borders, then ignored him because of his miserable state. The sick lion died in June of the same year, and his body was taken for clinical analysis, revealing a strong unknown bacterial infection by the local care team. The situation was so concerning that the last Tumbila lion and the rest of the pride were sedated, and blood samples were taken for lab testing. The procedure was necessary to prevent the disease from spreading like a plague and killing all the cats in the reserve. However, no other lions showed signs of the same bacteria. The disease and the type of bacteria discovered remain a mystery to this day. Now, the last member of the coalition faces increasing dangers alone from rival coalitions pursuing his territory. Unable to withstand the repeated battles against attacking lions, he decided to leave in late July 2022, abandoning the entire western sector and traveling about 30 kilometers back to his former home in the Manyaleti Reserve, like most lions that make the journey back to their birthplace when nearing death. However, this was not the case for the last member of the Tumbila coalition, who was only 6 years old, in his prime, healthy, and in excellent physical condition. His wisdom to avoid conflict and death led him to avoid other lion coalitions, where he could reign for another 3 or 4 years in his place of origin, within his former pride. Despite the great risk of crossing open areas, luck was on this strong lion's side. His path did not intersect with any other competitors until he finally reached his birthplace and settled there. He was seen returning to the reserve, leading a small pride of females, finding his chance to start anew after a journey marked by victories and tragedies. It was considered a saga of strength, cunning, and survival after the last lion and his brothers conquered many lands, survived encounters with many powerful enemies, and overcame relentless challenges. But in the end, it was nature that had the upper hand against a coalition unshielded from the mysterious and deadly fate that awaited them.